This video is intended for read aloud purposes of the text math problems. Miss Alexander wrote frantically on the board as she explained the steps to solve the math problem. It felt like she was trying to win a race for the fastest math class ever taught. I tried to keep up, but it was no use. The steps were jumbled in my head. I looked around. My classmate seemed to be following along fine. I felt like she was speaking a foreign language, and I was the only one who didn't understand. I was drowning in a sea of unsolved math problems. I would never be able to pass the test on Friday. I was beginning to panic. It was October, and I realized that I didn't belong in Miss Alexander's advanced sixth grade math class. I was struggling. I never understood the homework, and I failed most of the quizzes. Soon my parents were going to find out that my math grade was far lower than expected. In elementary school, I had done well in math. However, once Miss Alexander introduced letters alongside the numbers, I was totally lost. I should have asked her to slow down, but I was afraid. I had questions, but I was too embarrassed to ask. Paragraph 3. I knew I needed to do something because I needed to pass the test on Friday, or else I would fail math. I went home that night and looked over my notes. They didn't make any sense. I looked in the textbook and tried to do practice problems, but it was useless. I got all the answers wrong. The test was 4 days away, and I didn't know how I would pass. The next day at school, math class went the same as always. Miss Alexander put problems on the board and we solved them. When she went over the answers, mine were all wrong. When she explained how to solve the problems, I was lost. I was beginning to lose hope. Then I noticed my neighbor, Molly Hunter, sitting a row away. When we played review games, she always won, and she always volunteered to solve problems on the board. Molly and I weren't exactly friends, but she rode my bus and we said hello to each other in the hallway. I felt anxious telling her about my struggles in class, but I knew that Molly wasn't the type of person who would make fun of a classmate. So I gathered my courage and I called up to her as she left class. I confessed to her that I was falling behind and asked if she would be willing to help me. Luckily, she agreed to help. We made plans to meet at her house after school. That afternoon, she explained how to solve math problems. She went slowly so I could follow along, and she answered all of my questions. She was patient, so I never felt self-conscious. After a few hours of hard work, I felt like I was finally starting to understand. Molly even said that helping me was a good way for her to study. I felt better prepared for the test, but I still continued to practice the rest of the week. On the day of the test, I felt confident for the first time all year. Miss Alexander handed out the test and I breezed through the problems. I was certain that I had gotten a good grade thanks to Molly's help. When I left class that day, I knew I would remember that math class for the rest of my life. Not only did I learn a life lesson, I also made a new friend.